Hi there everybody, Siggy Seroka with another weekly weather explainer for you, and I thought we would talk about some inversions because we're going to start getting into that time of year where we have inversions, at least temperature inversions more specifically. So breaking down what that setup looks like so you have an idea of what it's going to do to the atmosphere. Inversions, they're stable air masses, and that's where colder air is found at the surface and warmer air is found aloft. Now air cools at the surface a lot faster than it does up in the upper levels of the atmosphere because of pressures and densities, but taking a look at when there's no inversion, you got warm air at the surface. It rises and it cools at a normal rate. All that smoke, pollution, things like that, air quality, it improves. That smoke and pollution gets out and the air and quality stays pretty good. But when you have an inversion, these typically happen overnight. That planetary boundary layer becomes a little bit more shallow and stays at the surface. So that warmer air creates a nice little lid over that cold air at the surface because that warm air is rising but not cooling as fast as it does at the surface at night. So smoke and pollution, they become trapped, and that's typically why you start to see some foggy mornings, but that's also one of the signs of an inversion. A lot of other signs are clear skies, you have winds less than 3 miles an hour, it's really close to sunrise or sunset because, like I mentioned, that planetary boundary layer starts getting real close to the surface, meaning there's not a lot of movement up and down in the atmosphere. There's also dew present. You need that moisture a little bit to kind of help add into the humidity of it. Horizontal smoke patterns, if you were having a fire and you notice all the smoke staying low but moving along the surface of the ground, well, that's a sign of an inversion settling in and not a lot of vertical movement in the atmosphere. Also, ground fog in some low-lying areas. You really need valleys sheltered by the wind too. If you have wind flow, that's going to help break up the inversion, kind of break the lid off and keep temperatures at least more average to everybody else. When you have that inversion set up, it's basically like putting a lid on a pot, and all of the temperatures that's in there when that lid goes on overnight or at least close to the sunset or sunrise, it stays that way until you can get enough warming or winds to move that air around in the valley and lift that lid off so it can start warming up at a normal rate. But that basically does it for weather inversions, at least temperature inversions. For more news and weather updates, stay right here on the Nonstop Local streaming channel.